What is the nature of the mind? Where do emotions come from? The painting by Japanese artist Hokusai, The Great Wave, depicts three little boats struggling against an enormous wave. The people's lives hang in the balance because of the great wave. But really, is the uncertainty comes from outside, or is it in our mind? The most puzzling aspect of the mind is its autonomy. The difficulty of meditation indicates the precarious nature of conscious mind control. We have a hard time regulating our thoughts, let alone suppressing them. Our emotions, particularly our negative feelings, tend to spill into every aspect of our lives. Animals can only find food and escape danger if they respond intelligently to stimuli. They can walk, swim, fly, run, climb trees, and even hunt with incredible precision. How do they do it? Every move is a teaching moment about gravity, distance, weight, and force. Survival depends on the intuition of the physical environment. Sensory organs turn the spatial information from our three-dimensional world into a complex temporal rhythm, which regulates movement and forms the basis of decision-making and memory. Intellect is the ability to adapt to the physical laws of nature. At a certain neural complexity, the mind enables comparisons and associations based on emotions. For example, feelings permit body temperature regulation or caring for offspring in mammals and birds. The conscious experience is often considered an exceedingly hard problem to solve, perhaps because of the mind's self-referential nature, the inside, unique view of the individual. The brain generates a small, inverted sensory reflection on the cortical surface, which functions like the backside of the pinhole camera. The pinhole camera is a box with a pin-sized hole on its side, which projects a small inverted image onto its back wall. Here, the umbrella turns upside down inside the back wall, but it also turns from left side to right side. In the brain stem acts as the pinhole. This is where the nerves cross between the sides of the body, as shown here in the cross section. This and other similar examples show the role of physics in perception. So what is the nature of emotions? Engines produce work by transforming thermal energy into useful movement. In contrast, intelligent computing transforms information into meaningful representation or memory. The brain identifies with the body and relies on it for its extensive nutrient needs, but it only connects with the outside world through the sensory system, stimulus. Reading road signs is spontaneous and involuntary. We cannot turn off vision, hearing, or balance. Stimulus disturbs successive homeostatic layers of the brain, triggering motivation. Neurons transfer information by electric means, forming brain frequencies. Although emotions represent the unlimited colors of the human experience, they only have positive or negative energy signatures, as shown here on this illustration. Emotions represent energy imbalances, the fundamental motivations of the mind. In the top, negative emotions represent a contraction, which comes from their higher frequencies. And in the bottom, positive emotions represent an expansion, which comes from their lower frequencies. Nevertheless, both states induce a motivation which automatically, independent of consciousness, restores the central equilibrium position, the so-called resting state. The resting state is the spontaneous fluctuations of the inactive brain. The need for air, water, food, and mating modulates emotional energy signatures between urgency and relaxation, as shown here on the top and the bottom, which turns time into a subjective mental experience. In the words of Einstein, when you sit with a nice girl for 2 hours, you think it's only a minute. But when you sit on a hot stove for a minute, you think it's 2 hours. Einstein's insight shows that even minutes or seconds can trigger impatience when we are suffering. Misery makes the clock seem to tick slower. However, Einstein was wrong about positive emotions. They also slow the perception of time. We feel their transience only in retrospect. When spending time with a nice girl or boy, for that matter, time seems to stand still. Information processing builds on the mental state. Fast oscillations permit greater information transmission, but their significant energy needs tax the brain's energy cycle. Positive and negative emotions have contrasting energy needs and contrasting mental and health consequences. The increasing time perception in both cases suggests the trigonometric or wavy origin of emotions. Research has confirmed that the wave comes from the temporal expansion in case of positive emotions, which is shown here on the top of the drawing, and negative emotions contract, shown in the bottom. Fast oscillations are deterministic. They constrict focus and create psychological heaviness, shown here on the right bottom. Remorse and repetitive thought patterns turn the focus toward the past because they leave their stamp on the resting state. Their residual energy has to go somewhere. There are two possible paths to channel their pent-up tension. In the first case, aggravation, critical tendency, and physical brutality radiate into the environment. In the second case, negative emotions are internalized, wreaking havoc on the hormonal system via anxiety and depression. Both possibilities induce adverse hormonal and psychological consequences. Mental diseases, which might originate in the brain's energy regulation, cost the global economy more than $3 trillion per year in lost productivity, according to some estimates. Our new narrative indicates that the inside view of the individual gives rise to particle-like isolation. The Fermionic mind hypothesis recognizes consciousness as a separate and subjective personal universe, the smallest unit of intellect, analog to the electron or other fermions, which are matter particles. Information-free, positive emotions have lower energy needs, inspiring satisfaction, trust, love, and generosity. The wealth of time turns attention to the future through novelty and creativity. Because success is on the other side of struggle, only intrinsic motivation, the so-called mental energy, inspires concentration toward achievement. Due to the temporal nature of the mind, mental progress is an essential ingredient for personal development, mental and bodily wellness. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel to learn more about the mind and emotion.